Hey guys, this is Hayden, and this is going to be a little, I guess, voiceover of this flight. So this is the second or third long-range flight that I've done with the ZOHD Dart XL. So far, it is, or it has been a pretty good platform for FPV. Super stable. You can see the RunCam split HD footage is the primary video, and then in the top right we have the DVR that is what I see in the goggles. And then you can see I just sped it up because it's pretty boring just going out there super far. So this is using, once again, if you've seen the previous video, a Profi CNC Cube Orange flight controller. It's a pretty good flight controller so far. There seems to be a lot of electromagnetic interference inside of the plane, so some of the sensors I found are sometimes a little bit inaccurate, which is a little bit frustrating, but I think that it's going to be okay in the long run. So you can see we're climbing up pretty high. It's still about 400 feet above the ground because that terrain elevation is pretty variable. It goes up and down. And then right here is a pretty high part. But so we're kind of reaching probably the halfway, maybe a little over halfway here. It's a little bit bumpy over here. I wasn't quite sure how far I wanted to go when I was actually flying, but we ended up going about 4.4 miles, or I guess. One thing that I've noticed about the Cube Orange, and that is a little bit frustrating, is the power module is super inaccurate. The volt meter is accurate for the most part. It might be off by a factor of about 0.2 volts, but the amp meter, I'd say, is off by a factor of about 2 amps at the low end, and then I have no idea how accurate it is at the high end, because I'm pretty sure that this configuration with the 9x6 propeller and the 40 amp ESC pulls about 29 amps total, but it only says that it's pulling about 13 amps at full throttle. So I don't think that's accurate at all, but that's an issue that I'll address later. As long as the voltage is somewhat accurate, you can kind of have a good indication of what how much range you have left. So you can see we just reached the 4.4 mile mark, which is about 7 kilometers. Now we're headed back. I do live in Colorado, and I'm flying right now on the Front Range. So I decided that I might as well just fly along the front Range in these little foothills, flying over by Roxborough, if you know where that is. But yeah, so just kind of going back now. Luckily, we're headed somewhat with the wind, maybe a little bit of a crosswind. It says about a 3 mile an hour crosswind from, looks like, the east. You can see that right above the battery indicator, but definitely not too bad wind wise. It's definitely getting bumped around a little bit. You can see in the DVR, but so far pretty successful. So some of the things that I really like about this plane are that it's really small. It has a 1 meter wingspan, and that compared to my old plane, which was the Volantex Ranger 2000 with a 2 meter wingspan, so twice the size, is really convenient for launching it, for storing it, for transporting it, and it honestly behaves like a much bigger plane. The Dart XL does. So I'd say it's a pretty good trade-off. I was looking into the ZOHD Talon GT, which is also a 1 meter, but it's not a wing. It has a V-tail, and I ended up going with the Talon GT because they had just released the Enhanced Edition, so that's what this is. And I decided that that was a good option because it might be a little bit more future-proofed. It has a better motor mount and everything, and they added a little bit more carbon fiber throughout. So it's so far been a really good plane. I've definitely crashed it a couple times and just glued it back together, and it seems fine. So so far I'm pretty happy with it, and especially after this flight, with how stable it is, and it came back with, all the electronics in it. It's, I hope it's reliable. But yeah. Let me know if you guys want to see a full setup of the Pixar Cube Orange, or I guess Cube Orange, with ADS-B and everything. It does actually have active aircraft avoidance, which is what that ADS-B is. So it has this little antenna, and it can sense the aircraft around it. And if it does sense one, it will either return to home or dive, or in this case, it would just dive and then come home and circle around home. But that's why I'm not too worried about flying this high. And it's also pretty late at night when I was doing this, so there weren't any aircraft in the area. But yeah, so far it's been super reliable. Return to home works really well. I'm really happy with this run cam split. You can see how much detail it's picking up in those, and with that golf course that's behind the foothills. But yeah, so far I'm super happy with this platform. The 1 watt TBS transmitter, I think it's called the Unify, is phenomenal. It has not it's not failed on me a single time. That was 4.4 miles, and what I see in my goggles is a lot more clear than what that looked like when I was all the way out there. So I'm super happy with that. Eventually I might upgrade to a 1.3 gigahertz system, and then really take advantage of the Dragon Link, which has the capability to go up to 50 kilometers, which is, I guess, maybe 32 miles ish. So that would definitely be interesting in the future. 1.3 gigahertz requires a little bit more setup than 5.8, because this is just a little antenna on my goggles, and then the small little Omni antenna that's on the airplane, and the tiny little transmitter. So it's really convenient for that, but I think this probably has about a 10-mile-ish range, which is definitely a bottleneck. So in the future, I'll definitely think about upgrading. So we're coming into land here, and so it's a pretty successful flight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see more. I'll probably upload some more flight footage. I find it entertaining, so maybe somebody else does too. But if there are any watchers on this, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day.